I've had enough with suckers in my life. Ripped it out with my bare hands. How are we going, everybody? Now, it's been a big day for us. We've been pruning all day. I'm talking about hedging here, nothing, fancy to look at. Although I did do some nice little shapes. I'm not going to show you yet, let it fill in. But what we're going to talk about now are fruit trees, because while I was pruning around here, I was looking at these fruit trees and geez, they've grown a lot. There's so much growth on top there. It's really just bolted already. So that's what we call, the spring summer growth on it. And it's there designed to protect the fruit from getting scorched by the hot summer sun. But I think it's put on more growth than it should have this early. Anyway, it needs to be cut back down. We're not going to do that, but we're going to talk about something else to cut off the tree. But before we go there, let's entertain ourselves with a little bit of the fruit. We're looking at a plum tree. This is normally, well, we thought this was a double graft, then we thought it was the rootstock taking off, and now I'm more convinced that it is a double graft, although this side here, my right side, or as you're looking at it, this side has produced very little fruit by comparison to the other side. Have a look, this is what we're looking at as a fruit. But that isn't the true full shape of it there, because I've also got this one over here. This is starting to ripen, but look at that teardrop. It's got that teardrop shape. Now, I haven't seen this one before. It's the first time it's actually fruited. There's only a handful. I think there's another one just over here. See there, just over there. And then there's another teardrop shaped just over here, which is really about the right time and shape it should be as far as ripening. This one here, oh, it's not quite ready. But you know what I'm worried about? The bloody rats. As I was hedging, I found nothing. Oh, it's just fallen off. There you go. As I was hedging, I found so many nests where they feast, more like a banquet where they have all their fruit. And this is the fruit they're eating. So, is it that good that they have to take it before it's ripened? Oh, mate, that's like honey. Look at that, yellow flesh. That's delicious. I don't know what variety it is. Anybody recognise that shape? Have a guess? Please share it in the comments. I'd be curious to know. On the other side, let's get on with it. Have a look at this. 2 fruit on one side, 2,000 on this side. Now these are blood plums, and I cannot wait this year to harvest and enjoy them. They're all teardrop, almost. Not quite, but look at that. Well, they've all got a little point on the bottom, so which is typical, but that is excessive there. Look at that. So something's going on here. They're all starting to change shape. So as you're enjoying and admiring your trees and pruning a little bit above as you need to, it's important this time of the year to look down, because what we're looking at are suckers. And this is the rootstock taking off, and we've mentioned this before, but it's more prominent now, right now with the rain that we've had, especially in Victoria. Hot weather, cold weather, rain, and hot weather again, and they come up again. And this is what happens. Now, I've cut this before and I've done it wrong. What I mean by doing it wrong, meaning I never completed my task in removing the sucker completely. If you want to come around here and have a closer look, this is what I'm talking about here. This all has to be cut out, not trimmed back like this. You can see that I've done it in the past like that, but what we need to do, and I've got a saw somewhere, a couple of 100 meters away, we've got to get in here and cut all this out, all the way down flush, and basically dig out as much of it as we can so we don't have it suckering up again in that spot. You need to dig out the eye. The eye is basically the bud where it comes out of. So for example here, this tree has little buds everywhere, nodes, buds, all these little lines. There will be buds in there that can burst out when the tree gets cut back really hard. And I'm sure you've seen many a times where they sucker up, and we showed you the other one, the lily-pillies, how they were suckering out from the base because the top half had died. This has to be cut out. And before we cut it out, we've got to clean up a little bit and just find how far down deep it starts off the side of the trunk, which is the rootstock. Right here is where the graft was done, folks. So when this tree was first created and grafted onto a rootstock, it was just done here, and you can see how the graft, that's the sign wood that was on top, but it's a little bit thinner, and the swelling, the callousing that occurs around the join there. And the rootstock down here, well, it wants to grow on its own. And those birds above us, they're gonna go. Just making some room to get in there because that's wedged against the main trunk. And here we go. We're through down to the base. Now, I'm going to try and cut it as flush as I can to the side of the trunk because that's where it's coming from. And this is one that's been around for a number of years, folks. As you can tell, I've only cut it back. I haven't removed it completely like that. Problem here is it'll try and sucker up again from down here around the sides there. Now, when you do a prune like that, make sure you seal it over. In the past, well, even in the present, a bit of mud, dries up, heals, stops water getting in. That's the whole thing about that. I'll keep the mulch away, just allow that to dry out like that, nice and neatly. Not sandy loam, a bit of clay, and that is a bit of a clay base that we've got there. Now that, as you're seeing here, there's at least 1, 2, 3, 4 years of growth, 5 maybe. Obviously a little bit lazy I am, but well, we attended to it now, it's out of the way. And this is only one side of the trunk. I'll show you a tree quickly that's completely out of control with suckers. Look at this bloody mess. This is a nectarine tree that I rescued. It was on its way out. Well, it's not on its way out. It's on its way to becoming a wild tree. No fruit. And a heap of suckers. Wait, let me just cut these up so you can see what I'm talking about. Lowe's number 1, folks. I can't recommend them highly enough. So easy to use and cuts through some of the hardest wood too with ease. If you want to understand why, see how it's out of shape? Well, let me turn it that way to show you because that's the way you hold it. That's the blade side up. It's an anvil pruner and it cuts beautifully. And what I mean by that, it does an actual slicing action. So you can see how that's sticking out a bit. So that triangular shape there is not quite, perfect. It's not symmetrical, it's out of shape. So what happens is as you close the blade, either the top or the bottom, it does a slicing action through the actual timber, which takes away a lot of that pressure required for you to be able to push through. So it slices while you're pressing through it, making the job a lot easier to cut. Now, a couple of problems here. This tree is in the wrong spot. I don't know what possessed me to stick it here. A, it's in the wrong spot. We've just got no room for it to grow. And B, if you have a close look down here on the trunk, have a look at this bloody mess. We've got a mushroom top going on here, and that is unstable. So we've got all this new growth that's come out, which is the rootstock trying to take off, and the graft on top. So this is a very old tree. It was on its way out, and I think it might be on its way out completely now. I'm going to take this out. But if you've got this sort of rootstock happening with the mushroom top and suckers coming off on the end, you either got to get rid of the tree completely or really spend a lot of time maintaining things like that so they don't take off. It needs to go. So, sacrificial plant, time to go, because I've had enough with suckers in my life. Some people use bobcats, folks. I'm not happy for this tree. I'm a trained professional. Don't try this at home. Seek advice from your local arborist on how to remove a tree. And certainly don't try and do what I just did, because you can't hurt yourself. All right, torque power. There we are. Ripped it out with my bare hands. I haven't lost it. I don't think I've ever had it. Folks, if you're watching this just as we've uploaded it, tune over to 693 AM dial. That's 3RW radio. When I catch my breath back, I'll be able to answer all your questions. And we're running some great specials for Christmas as well. So check out our website, vasilisgarden.com. I'm going to go inside and get some sleep. From me, Vasili, Maresi. Look at me, I didn't think I was going to do that.